Hi, I'm Christian Press. I'm spotter from TRSi and Red Sector Incorporated, one of the two augurs of the group and also head of the console division. In the 6 years between 2006 and 2012 we released 5 different first releases as wild demos for the computer scene on 5 different platforms. Those ran on the PSP, the DTV, Xbox 360, Android and Blu-ray players on PS3 and standalone players.
My name is Paul. I am a hardware engineer and I constructed a satellite which actually is now in the orbit.
After the regular release of Space Madness on Arduino and Arduino Shield in 2013, we thought we'd do something completely different this year.
You built with your own hands a satellite.
Yes, from scratch.
So there was nothing there.
Nothing.
And take 2 wild hardware platforms, sort of, which lie 30 years apart in their release date.
It is a very small one, size of a tennis ball, but it has many features inside, for example plasma thrusters, reaction wheels, a camera with image processing, and of course a demo of TRSi.
And do something with them all together. That would be shoot a C64 demo to space through the final frontier on the WREN satellite.
Every Cena knows, I think every Cena is also asked, the C64, it's a dead computer, why are you doing this stuff? Isn't this a waste of time? No, it isn't.
That's another first.
This demo will be approximately 21 years in orbit.
course of TRSi with the promise of reaching the skies and stay up there for a while. From now on, as you may imagine, it's unscripted. I don't know how this is going to work out. We know when it's going to end. I have not prepared any CubeSat jokes. So Derek is now or never. I just don't have anything. Oh, there is something. Let's just give them half a minute to settle in. Maybe I can just tell you what you see in front of you. To the best of my ability, I've not seen that before. But that is the Dnepr rocket in its silo. That is just an animation, and unfortunately I must ask that you not film that on video. We are obligated by the Russians not to film it and stream it outside. Unfortunately, the big camera is down. Down. The Russians are serious. They will not open that hatch. It used to be an intercontinental ballistic missile. So that's why I'm not there. You're not actually, there's not a lot of action. They said it's much more enjoyable sitting here with a light show. But they're designed to be inobtrusive. And as you can see, they don't allow SpaceX type coverage. To your far left, you will see simulation.
Kun je het zien of niet?
We can hear you. This is supposed to be one-way communication.
Sorry.
I don't know if I can chip in or not. You're allowed to use the cell phones. You're allowed to tweet. I don't know how it works, but they said the hashtag is ZACube1. So start tweeting. Everybody, yeah, get your friends to tweet. The moment you get tweets, you will see it on stage. So if there's nothing on stage, you've not tweeted. ZACUBE, one for what it's worth. I think you have to. But to your left, you can see the simulation paths. Also shown there is Sunsat and Shumandila, which is still orbiting Earth. And you will soon see the third satellite appearing on that screen. And at that point, I'm going to hand over to Sansa to take you through the orbiting of ZACube. Incidentally, why is there nothing? We're 45 seconds away. Are we on? He says yes. But I say boom. 23 minutes after launch, there will be a passover. We will not hear the satellite, but you will definitely see it coming over Cape Town on the screen. Can I make a quick phone call?
Hi, good morning. Morning. Sorry, you're calling at a real bad moment at the moment. Yes, what are you calling for?
I can confirm that it was an actual launch. The messages down at the bottom is real time. The sound, it seems, is a bit tricky, but first stage rocket. Maybe Ben, where are you? I'm going to call on you to take us through this. He is prepared. Ben Opperman from SANSA.
Thanks, Robert. As you'll see, this rocket it's a multi-stage rocket. It actually consists of 3 stages. And as a rocket progresses through space, as soon as the fuel is expended in one of the stages, it's ejected. You actually see after 111 seconds, we saw the ejection of the first stage, so that's falling back to Earth. We expect the second stage ejection to be around about 336 seconds, so that would be at 9:15 and 47 seconds. So we still a few seconds away. And just for interest, I mean, although it's a very big rocket, I mean, it's about 34 meters tall, and it's 3 meters in diameter. So just imagine standing at the top of a 10-meter diving board in a swimming pool, and times that by 3, so you get an idea how tall this thing is. It's like jumping off the Soweto Towers. And packed inside this rocket are all the satellites. Now, we are focusing only on Tipu, sorry for the pronunciation, the Tipiso. But that is one of 23 satellites on board this rocket. Okay? And of the 23 satellites, there are actually 14 CubeSats and 9 microsatellites. Now, the microsatellites are typically in the mass class of around 60 to 100 kilograms. So 9 of those and 14 of the smaller ones. So at the moment we run about 200 seconds. So we expect at 336, second stage at 336 seconds we should see separation for the second stage. But after the second stage rocket booster has been ejected, we expect that a number of seconds later the first release, or the release of the first satellite would commence. And that is actually the primary satellite of the payload, and I think that is the Dubai Sat-2 satellite. So that would be quite a big satellite. And then after that, subsequent to that, we'll see the release of the other satellites. So, just coming back to what we see on the screen. So at the moment, we, to some extent, see where the launch vehicle is traveling through space, actually represented by ZACube-1. And just give a short explanation of what we actually see here, because we all know what a flat Earth looks like. You see these very strange wavy lines. Now these represent the satellite's ground trace around Earth. So you just imagine having a rubber ball and drawing a line around it, and then kind of cutting this rubber ball in half and stretching it out flat. And imagine the pattern which this line will actually make on it. And then you get these wavy sinusoidal shaped lines which actually represent. Okay, so that's separation. So that's a second stage having fallen away. Right, so they have nice confirmation at 310 seconds. So the flight parameters are nominal, which means that the satellite or the launch vehicle is flying as expected. So the second stage is falling back to Earth, and the third stage, the upper stage rocket booster, has kicked in. Now, we actually expect, okay, now the primary payload should be ejected around about 9:25. So that's about 10 minutes from now. So we're about 10 minutes into launch. But then we'll see at 9:25, we should see the primary payload ejected. and that will be placed in orbit. And we suspect our satellite to be released around about a few seconds later, at 9:25:46. So this is going to happen in quick succession. To give you an illustration of how compact these things work, I mentioned 23 satellites packed on the rocket, packed inside of them. Now the 9 microsatellites are packed kind of around these, and then the 14 CubeSats are packaged in a very interesting fashion. Now the way the CubeSats are packed is they've got a canister in which each canister can carry up to 3 CubeSats if you have a 1-unit CubeSat. If you have a 3-unit CubeSat consisting of essentially 3 cubes added together, it can fit into 1 canister. Or we also call this a pod. Now there are 9 of these pods. So the 14 CubeSats are packaged in 9 pods in the launch vehicle. And interesting, our satellite is packaged in pod number 1, along with HINSAT from Norway and FunSat from the Netherlands. And we will be the first pod to be released. So pod 1 should be released around about 9:25 and 46 seconds, and then literally almost in 1-2 second succession after that, the other pods will be released. And then they will spread out into space and initially follow the very same path for all of these satellites. Now in time, these satellites will spread out, and we actually suspect, according to the analysis which we've received, we expect that within 1 day, the satellites from the individual pods will drift apart by about 1,100 kilometers. Okay. So the first orbital parameters which we have and we actually use for the simulation were theoretical orbital elements supplied by the team in Yasny. So it's a bit of a theoretical prediction as to where the satellites are in space. So when we look at our satellite over here, within this configuration, all these other satellites are actually clustered together. But in time, they will drift apart, and then we'll get the individual satellite parameters or orbital parameters for each of the satellites. Now, let's see where we are. Okay, so telemetry data has now been received by a mobile tracking station in Oman. Now, of interest, when the satellite is launched, then as soon as this launch vehicle is away from the local launch site and over the horizon or out of reach of the local radar systems, then you have to switch to supporting ground stations. Okay.
Okay, sorry. That was a very unnatural stop. We were supposed to be a bit more ending it off. There's still a few minutes till the satellites will pop out. We'll definitely get back to that. In the meantime, we have a very special guest on stage again. 13 years or so ago, 2 professors sat, they tell me, in a tea room. I don't know that, but they